Welcome to Star Wars: The Old Republic. In this, you will choose between fighting for the Galactic Republic, fighting for honor, justice, democracy, and the general freedom of sentient beings, or fighting for the Sith Empire, to dominate, to control, to destroy, to ultimately assert your power over everything. This conflict between two opposing forces has been going on for millennia, and you are now about to choose a side and possibly shift the balance. Why play Star Wars: The Old Republic in 2023? This video will answer that. Hey y'all, it's Nim, or Nimicree if you're feeling professional, and welcome to the YouTube video. Now today, we're going to answer the question why you should play Star Wars: The Old Republic in 2023. We'll start off with the setting, then move to the PvE content, then PvP content, then I'll give a few odds and ends, and my final thoughts onto why you should play Star Wars: The Old Republic in 2023. So let's start off with the setting. The setting, of course, is the Old Republic in the Star Wars universe. Yeah, I know, real mind-blowing, right? Except, here's the thing. If you've only seen the movies, the cartoons, and the live-action shows, there is so much to this universe that you have never seen. I'll give you an example. In Knights of the Old Republic, your first planet is Taurus. Taurus is this cosmopolitan world. It's a little seedy. It's a lot like Coruscant, except at the end of the first mission, basically, or first mission arc, you end up fleeing Taurus as it is bombarded and blasted back to the Stone Age. Since this game takes place 300 years after Knights of the Old Republic, canonically, Taurus is now a ruin, ran over by rat ghouls and irradiation, and occasionally settlements from both the Republic and the Sith Empire. But what I want to draw attention to now is the galaxy map, right? So I'm currently on Taurus, as you can see. We've got a whole bunch of different sectors. So let's just click on one and see this. There's Odessin and Ruknuk. There's space battles like the Fondor Escort or Balasar Outpost. Corellia, Tython, where the Jedi come from. That's your starting planet for the Jedi. Balmorra, Manan, Onderon. Dantooine, ancient Jedi outpost. Various levels of difficulty and planets. Ilum, where lightsaber crystals come from. Ord Mantell, starting zone for your troopers. Not gonna go there. Nar Shaddaa, planet for the Hutts. Basically like space Las Vegas. It's really, there's so many different things to do here. And all of those planets have class story missions and planet story missions. So you advance. In addition to having overarching stories throughout the entire expansions. So let's just go to a planet here real quick. We'll figure it out. You know, we're on Taurus. We'll go to Taurus. I want to show off what I'm talking about. Because the people who made this game, BioWare, when they made it, they really like to stick to their canon of what they made. So we'll fly in on your own personal spaceship, and every class gets a spaceship as part of the story. You can do PvP fights in your spaceship, or you can do PvE on-rail shooting, and I'll show that off here in a second later in the video. But I honestly think it's great. Now, I'm playing as a Jedi Shadow, and even though this is the Old Republic era, where Sith and Jedi powers were really kind of at their extreme. I mean, the standard Jedi was able to swing a lightsaber, honestly, I think better than what's shown in the movies, and that may just be due to a graphical or technical limitation. But to Temenis, the ability to block Force attacks with the Force was not so rare, at least as far as I'm aware. Now let's mount up.
Welcome to Taurus. I'm Governor Suresh.
There are many different mounts to choose from. I go with this walker because I think it looks cool. One of my other characters by the name of Justice Donuts is dressed like a space police officer and has a space police car. But here we are at Taurus, right? Taurus, if you remember from the first game, was again a city. Now this place belongs to the rat ghouls. But as I was saying, Jedi and Sith aren't the only people, or the only beings, or entities, that are running this era. Let's go take a look at some of the other options you can be. So here we are at the character select screen again. You remember this from the beginning of the video. So let's start with the Galactic Republic here. Click, we'll move forward to our origin. So now you can choose your origin story. Now, what they refer to as an origin story means this is your class mission. And so we have Jedi Knight, Jedi Consular, Smuggler, and Trooper. You'll notice that each of these classes has many different styles. So we'll start with the Jedi Knight. You have your Guardian, a wall of courage and fortitude for those they protect. The Guardian stands firm in the face of overwhelming odds and dares opponents to attack. You'll notice, too, that there are 3 different specs. You have Defense, which is a tank. Vigilance is damage over time and melee. And Focus is direct damage and melee. You then go to Sentinel. This is a pure DPS class. We have Sage, allows you to heal as well as do damage. And then Shadow, what I'm playing as. I'm playing as a Shadow. I'm actually kinetic combat, and it's really cool to be a stealth tank. You can do things with a stealth tank that you can't do with other classes. For example, last night with Xenobiologist, there was a mechanic where he targets you with a laser. Xenobiologist is one of the raids, or operations. And he targets me, boom, I go stealth in combat, the debuff gets targeted, we cheese it, and then we just keep burning and burning and burning. It's a lot of fun. But you'll notice that every spec at least has a DPS spec, if not 2, and a, let's say, more useful spec. Because DPS and MMOs are dime a dozen. Some of them are really great, some of them, not so great. So let's look at the Jedi Consular. And again, we have Sage, Shadow, Guardian, and Sentinel. So just those right there, Jedi Knight and Jedi Consular, are basically the same now, except for the class story. It changes a little bit depending on what you're doing. We have the Smuggler. Of course, they're for our Han Solo types. And we have the Gunslinger, the Scoundrel, the Mercenary, the Power Tech, the Sniper, the Operative, the Commando, and of course, the Vanguard. You'll notice again, all of these have either pure DPS or have a heal spec or a tank spec. And that can be useful for group content as well as world content. Now, you do get a companion with you, and we'll show that off, that can be set to heals, DPS, or tanking, depending on what you want. I walk around as a tank, generally as my Jedi, so I have my companion as a healer. And each companion has things they like or dislike. So if there's one character that you really enjoy, you can play with them. And the best part is, you don't have to gear them. They just get stronger with you. And for world content, it's basically perfect. I'll show that off in a little while. But here we have the Trooper. Again, same thing. Just like how the Jedi Knight and Jedi Consular have the same stuff, the Trooper and Smuggler have the same styles. Again, just a little bit different class story. So now that we've seen the glorious Republic, let's talk about the Sith. The difference here between the Sith and the Jedi essentially is a cosmetic one. Do you want to have a dark affect or a light affect?
Now you'll see what a Sith is capable of.
And of course, we have the Sith Warrior as the Marauder, the Juggernaut, the Assassin, a Sorcerer, a lot of lightning. It's very, they literally have a lightning-based spec. It's kind of cool. And of course, the Sith Sage, Sith Shadow, Sith Guardian, and Sith Sentinel. We then move to the Inquisitor. Same thing. Just which class story do you want? We now have, instead of smugglers, we have bounty hunters. The same class, the same specs that you have here, of course, mercenary, power tech, sniper, operative, gunslinger, scoundrel, commando, and vanguard. And Imperial Agent has those same things. The reason why they did that was so that there's no real gameplay disparity between the two sides. So if you just want to be a Sith guy who does healing and is a light side. It doesn't matter if that, or you could be a Dark Jedi. It doesn't affect the meta of the game. And I think that's a very wise move. Now, I said I would talk about companions, and I think we will while we do some quests. Here we are heading towards Voss, and let's show off the companion's capability because of the fact that I want people to see how easy it is to switch and customize your companion playstyle. Let's say you want to level a healer. You can. You can absolutely level as a healer, have your companion set to DPS. So we just go to N, right? I have Nadia Grell out. You can see that right there. So then I just change her, click this, and as long as I'm not in combat, she can be a tank. She can be heals. She can be damage. And more importantly, they are pretty good in solo, even heroic content, or if you wanted to run a veteran level dungeon by yourself. I'll get into what the dungeon levels mean in a bit, but let's go down to Voss, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So here we're on Voss. I'll just go in any direction, see if I can't pick something to fight. I may need to actually use a speeder, since Voss is kind of well, it's not a high-level area. It's level 48 cap, but let's just fly here real quick and see if I can't actually get something. And this, of course, is the in-game taxi service. Sometimes it works out really well, sometimes it doesn't, but that's okay. Flying through. There is no flying, sadly, in Star Wars, unlike Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft. Do I think that's a good thing? Relative, I suppose. But I wouldn't mind being able to fly. After all, we have the technology in the game to go through starships and black holes and various other things, so you'd think flight would be something they could do. But let's show off a little bit of combat, and then we'll talk about the PvE. As you can see, different planets have different settings. Taurus was a ruin, whereas Voss seems more in a perpetual state of autumn. It's very pretty. I like it. And I'm playing this on a 4K monitor. I don't believe that I have all of my settings maxed. So that could be something that, let's see, yeah, if we go to graphics, I don't believe I have everything maxed. I have stuff set to high, but not very high, generally because of the fact that I like to stream this, and I don't want people to lag out or lose frames. So we'll go over here, and I'll just have a little combat. Bap! There's just my Jedi. Now again, I play as a tank, so those are all dead, and you'll see Nadia right there, quick with the heals. I'll go pull some more stuff. Now we've got a Silver, which is a strong enemy, so it's fine. No big deal. Boom, just killing stuff. As you can see, taking a little bit of damage, keeping my bubble. She's got a bubble on me. It's fine. She's also attacking, as she doesn't need to heal me. And when she needs to heal me, boom, she heals me, and we move back and forth. Easy enough. And you can go through, as a casual player, most of the game like that. Literally, the only time you would need other players is to do Operations or Uprisings. And then, of course, there are skills that you can get. We can talk about that a little later, but while I'm here, I might as well slice. There's something cool about having the ability to just walk around and hack lockboxes as a Jedi Shadow. Now that we've talked about the setting in some detail, let's talk about player versus environment, or my favorite type of content, PvE.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Now that we've discussed the setting, the easiest way to go about player versus environment combat is to talk about it in order of difficulty. So the most basic thing you'll do are missions. Missions are quests. Simple enough. The quest that I'm currently on, that I'm going to do, is Need to Impress. So I have to slice or hack the first, second, and third Voss communication towers. Now that has a bonus mission attached to it, which is destroy Imperial forces or defeat Imperial forces, kill 15 of them. So a lot of the bonus objectives come down to collect or kill, in addition to having to collect or kill or click on things for regular missions. That's pretty standard MMO fare. But the reason why I like the bonus missions is because it gives you extra experience, it gives you extra money, it can give you extra loot. It's nice to have. So let's just go. First, let's stealth on over there. As a Jedi Shadow, I can stealth, so that's kind of cool. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dash. Boom, and now I've pulled them all. So we're going to hit, and then I'm going to fight. And as you can see, bonus defeat Imperials, 4 out of 15. And I just do it as I do the bonus missions, generally, as I do the regular missions. Kill enemy, click things. Simple enough. Right? This is standard MMO fare, and it's pretty good. One of the things, though, I do want to mention is that all of the missions are voice acted. So when I go to turn this in, and I'll show you guys the turn in. We won't have to see all of this. The responses, I will be able to choose from a conversation wheel generally of my responses, and everything will be voice acted. So that's kind of a useful little thing. Not even some of the more modern MMOs don't have complete voice acting. So I wanted to highlight that, and I think it's good for the setting. Then after we're done with missions, oh, see, I just achieved a little achievement there. I think I killed like 25 soldiers or something like that. There's a lot. Again, there's always achievements in games like this. Then after that, we'll talk about Flashpoints, then Uprisings, then Operations, and of course the Starfighter PvE, and then later Galactic Starfighter PvP. So I'm going to cut the footage here, and then I'll pick it up right when I am turning in this quest, because you guys don't need to see me click on 2 more comm towers and kill 8 more Imperials. Alright, and we're back, ready to turn in this quest. So let's turn it in.
Spin this all you like, Ambassador. You tampered
And as
with
you can hear,
Voss
I'll put my headphones on.
communication
Is that a fact, Lord Beldis? I suppose I forged the Imperial comm logs that came out of them, too.
Stop. Neither were present. Both are blind. Those involved will answer. Did you strike against Voss?
And then, of course, now we have our questions. I can choose quite the opposite, in fact. I exposed Imperial spies. What a stupid question. I'm going to play the diplomat. Quite the opposite, in fact.
I was acting on behalf of the boss.
The Voss were unaware. The towers were abandoned. No Voss were harmed. This will not happen again.
I can personally guarantee that, Laren Kai.
You against the Empire, and me against Lord Beldis. I'm not sure which fight was harder.
You should have won.
How can Laren Kai ignore the Empire's crimes?
He's been fed lies and false promises by every outsider he's met. I don't blame him for wanting undeniable proof. The comm logs don't implicate Lord Beldis directly, but they prove he has Imperial spies in Voss Ka. One of them is Malcolm Terrax. Terrax is one of Imperial Intelligence's best agents, but now he'll be executed. We can't let that happen.
You think an Imperial spy will help us?
If we save Terrax, he might talk. The SIS spotted a new Dusk Squadron camp nearby. They're Imperial assassins, and their location is perfect for a quiet execution. I'm willing to bet they're here for Terrax.
Terrax could refuse to follow a Jedi.
If he makes that mistake, he'll find out fast enough. I'll make the arrangements for a deal with Terrax. I just hope he's still alive.
And there we go. You see? We just turned in a mission. I gained some conquest, which we can go over a little later. Then, of course, you see my rewards. Simple enough. You've got the credits, influence gained with Nadia Grell, and, of course, you know, any relic that I'll just choose one. I've already got better gear than that, so I'm not really worried about that at the moment. So now that we've talked about missions, let's talk about flashpoints. So here we are at flashpoints. Flashpoints are dungeons, just like in any other MMO. These dungeons are 4-person content, and you can do them outside of the hardest, Master Mode, in any group setup. You could go all heals if you wanted to. You could go all DPS, all tanks, you can do a mixture, you can do a traditional thing, and of course you have 2 options here when choosing. I'm starting the Veteran or the Master. I'm going to start the Veteran just for demonstrational purposes, because you actually, in order to do Master Mode, I would need a full party, and I don't want to drag anybody in here to form up something and not get it done. So let's head into Hammer Station here. Then we'll see. We'll show off a little bit of the combat, and then we can go from there. I do also want to mention that there are many, many flashpoints. I've got a list over here. Let's select about the Acels, the Black Talon, Hammer Station, which we're heading to now, Athos, the Mandalorian Raiders, Katamimu, the Kuat Drive Yards, Kokoloid War Games, Red Reaper, Directive 7, Cowan Under Siege, Lost Island, Circa Corporate Labs, Circa Core Meltdown. Moving through, there's operations. Then it looks like we have Manon, Ruins of Null, and we also have, if I look here, let's just make sure I've got everything, make sure I hit everything there, because there may be some that I missed. We go to the solo, we have, you know, the Cells, Tarl 5, Maelstrom Prison, Director 7, Battle of Ilum, False Emperor, Korriban Incursion, Assault on Tython, Depths of Manon, Legacy of the Rakata, Blood Hunt, Battle of Rishi, Crisis on Umbara, Traitor Among Chiss, The Nathame Conspiracy, Objective Meridian, Spirit of Vengeance, Secrets of the Enclave, and the Ruins of Null. So there are so many different flashpoints that you can do. And most of them you can do by yourself if you really wanted to. I'm in a group activity, but it says a full group is recommended, but it doesn't really matter. It's just going to take me a little longer to kill things. And with Cedrac's healing, we'll be fine. I switched out my companion to Cedrac's as I was giving some gifts away. As you can see, not a big deal, right? Just simple, easy, don't even need to worry about it. Cedrac's is keeping me alive. You'd be like, but Nim, you only pulled, you know, a few people. Yeah, I only pull a few people at a time, but that's not really a big deal. Just kill these things, show off. And what's going to happen is I'm going to cut to boss footage, show you that it can be soloed pretty easily without too much trouble, and then we'll talk about Uprisings, which are great. So let's cut here, and I'll join you at the boss. Here we are at the boss, the DN314 Tumbler. It's a droid prototype. Now you'll notice around the arena you see 3 little shiny blue interactable things. Those are Kolto stations. Let's say I was just wanting to go through here with having Cedrin be a DPS and myself be a tank or a DPS, and I'm not very sturdy. I can use those Kolto stations to heal myself. And on veteran mode, which is what I'm playing because I'm not in a full group and doing the harder content in master mode, those Kolto stations recharge. In fact, there was a fun time where I was playing with my buddy Panther, and both of our companions died, and I had to solo a boss, and I went around basically with using Kolto stations. It took a while, but we eventually got it down. It was a kind of a meme at that point. But let's get in here. Shouldn't take too long, hopefully. And we'll just go, kill this, and move on. So he's got about 2 million health. Not a big deal. We'll get it done. As you can see, I got the target lasers. We'll just pop defensive there. And I can resilience that if I need to. But with Cedrin being here, I shouldn't need to do too much. I shouldn't need to do too much. And again, it's just very simple. This is one of the first bosses you'll fight in the game. He summons ads. I'm not even going to worry about him. Because again, on non-master mode, as a tank, it's not really going to do a whole lot to me. So we'll just keep on keeping on. Now let's resilience that. Why not? Throw this out. Whoop. Shadow protection. Easy enough. And then Cedric cleanse that debuff, because that laser does throw a damage taken debuff on. But the AI is smart enough to know to cleanse you, which is really useful. In fact, I wish sometimes I could bring AI healers in to ops, but that's neither here nor there. All the healers I play with, though, are generally pretty good in the current guild and in Sanctuary of Old Souls. So they're all actually... I have had some that are, let's say, practices you, right? Because, again, I'm not a super good tank. I'm doing my best, but I'm not a super good tank. And right now this boss is, again, 61, so we're just going to chop him down. I'm going to get the loot, and then we can talk about Uprisings. Let's see, we'll just move out of the stuff. Simple telegraphs. And again, every dungeon fight has its own mechanics. A lot of things can be run down to tank and spank, especially at the early levels. But later on, there are some things that you should probably worry about. If I remember correctly, in the Zerka corporate labs, there is the final boss bounces around from container to container and will free ads. If you want to be proactive, you can actually just free the ads, kill them all, nuke them all down with like a group taunt, bring them together, nuke them all down, and then after that, you're just, oh, okay, that's just the boss. He'll just jump around trying to do something, but nothing will happen. One of the cool things about Flashpoints in this game is that you can actually skip a lot of mobs through proper CC. So, again, me being a stealth tank, if there are human mobs, if they don't see me, I can mind control them, or as we'll say, mez. I can mez them, and they won't detect any enemies. It's like if a rogue saps. It's really, and then people who aren't stealth can walk by. So you can actually skip a whole lot of trash. Now, my mez doesn't work on droids, and Hammer Station is filled with droids. There's that big spinning strike. It's the execute that I have. So just pop that off. Pop deflection. Cascading shadows. Add buff. That spinning strike. There it is. And he's almost dead. So dungeon. You kill the boss, you get the loot, and then at a certain level you start getting mods and various other things as opposed to just gear. So that's something useful. And then there are other quests, but that's kind of a little too niche for what we're talking about, why you should play, because that's all in-game content. This is just an overview video on why I think you should play. That should be almost dead. Yeah, he's at 71,000. And again, see, with Cedric's healing, I've been perfectly fine. He's dead. Loot the boss. Pick some things. Let's see. I got some stabilizers, tech fragments, a robe. Yeah, not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay. So now let's talk about Uprisings. Now that we're out of that dungeon or flashpoint, let's talk about Uprisings and Operations, the two hardest versions of PvE content that you can do as a group. Uprisings are fast-paced, and they're a little bit like a mix of a flashpoint and a dungeon. And of course, for Uprisings, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 Uprisings, and they can be done on Master, Story, or Veteran difficulty. So, easiest to Story, then Veteran, then Master. They all have achievements giving different loot, different objectives, and different achievements. So you can really crank those out if you want to. And then, of course, my favorite content in any MMO is Operations or Raids. Same thing. There's Story, Veteran, and Master Mode. Master Mode is no joke in this game, and you need to be very good at what you do and have very good gear and have communication. But ultimately, I think raiding is the best thing you can do in this game. I recommend it completely highly. As you can see, I've done a few raids. We've done Eternity Vault. I think I did Eternity Vault on Veteran. Yeah, I did on 16-person Veteran difficulty there last week. And then we did Temple of Sacrifice to last night, as well as, I believe, Explosive Conflict. Yeah, we did Explosive Conflict last night as well. The raiding generally is 2 tanks, several healers, rest DPS. I recommend it highly. It's so much fun. And you get some really cool rewards and gear from it. I was able to get a pretty high piece of gear through currency afterwards. So that's something I recommend that. I won't go too deep into Uprisings Operations because that's kind of endgame stuff, and this is about why you should play, not specifics on like this specific thing that you'll get to after, 10, 20 hours of play. But one thing you will get very quickly is solo starfighter combat. So let's show that off. So here we are at the Republic Fleet Command for the PvE space mission. So let's start with the one that you'll do first here as a new player, Operation Midnight Freedom. We'll complete the Fondor Escort mission. So we open this up, go down here to the Fondor Escort. We'll travel there, engage in the space mission, and just like regular missions, there are bonus objectives as well. We'll see if we can't get them both. But as you can see, I'm just moving around. I can barrel roll, I can fire, so we fire, and I have missiles. So as I've got to escort a shuttle. As you end up firing, your shields do not recharge. If you don't fire, your shields recharge, and you can pick up things to make stuff faster or slower, depending on power conversion modules. So I'm just trying to avoid stuff because it does hurt if you get hit. And as you can see, I've got bonus objectives there where I'm just shooting down little things. And of course, you can't friendly fire, so that's really cool there. But yeah, this actually is some of the best on-rails shooting that I think I've ever seen in a game. I mean, this is a legitimate, like, you could legitimately make a game out of this. And I'm destroying the frigate turrets. Taking out interceptors. There we go. My only beef with this is I wish I could turn the cursor size up a little bit, but what do you do?
Where's he going?
Let's take those out. Okay, so I just disabled the enemy fleet. Got something there, and completed a seasonal objective. We'll talk about seasonal objectives a little later in the overarching systems, because it makes sense to do that there along with Conquest and a few other things. So I need 4 more of these, and then just survive. And looks like we've got about a minute. We're about halfway through the mission. As you can see, there's a lot of different targets. So if you're not super good at the space combat, this one's pretty generous. And I think I got it. Maybe. No? There we go. And one of the cool things, too, is you actually do get character experience for doing this. So if you really just like doing the space combat, you could do a lot of the space combat every day, and it counts as regular quest experience and enemy experience. It's not a lot of enemy experience, but through your legacy system, which is one we'll go over, you can actually increase the amount. Now, you know, do I think that it's worth it to just do that? No. But, hey, you know what? If you want to play the game, you just want to shoot stuff from your starfighter, go pew-pew, nothing wrong with that. 50 seconds left on the combat. We'll finish the mission, and then we'll move on to our PvP experience. Now, as an interest of full disclosure, I am not super good at PvP. I tend to not do it. So that's one of those things. But for PvP, you have the ability to do this, but against other players. It's called Galactic Starfighter. And you have arenas, as well as war zones. War zones, think of them as objective-based player-versus-player combat, such as Hutball and a few things. And then, of course, arena is, hey, you know, gladiator combat. You, me, lightsabers, let's go. And, of course, you can issue specific challenges and duels and such. So as we go through here, we'll show that off here in a second. And bam, we just did the Fondor escort mission. Simple, easy, fun. And there are so many different space missions you can do. See, let's look at this here. So, Drexel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I had 18 space missions total because the Fondor Escort's not there because I just did it. And some of them are hard. Some of them are really hard. The heroic ones are actually pretty difficult if you're not good at the space combat. So let's talk about PvP now.
We're just clones, sir. We're meant to be expendable.
So I pull up the PvP. Go here. You can see my rank is 1. 0. Haven't done much. Don't do it at all. We've got our war zones. Our arenas. So war zones. Do battle in war zones across the galaxy. Join solo or with a group of 4 allies. Work together and strategically emerge victorious over the opposing team. Leave none standing. Not really my thing. And rewards experience, credits, and battle crate or upgrade materials. And we have the arenas. Gather a team or go it alone to represent the frog, dogs, or rotworms. Test your mettle against the teams of 4 players in arena matches. Last team standing is the best of 3 rounds in deathmatch wins. So that's really cool there. And of course you have Galactic Starfighter. Galactic Starfighter, are you the next hotshot pilot in the galaxy? Experience intense 8v8 or 12v12 free flight dogfighting in space. Choose your ship loadout and crew and show the enemy what you're made of. And of course you can pick different crews, go to the hangar, customize things. Let's do that. You can customize various things, do group battles and such. So I'm not worried about that. And then, of course, the PvP challenge allows 2 groups to create their own skirmish record guild and record guild versus guild challenges. The group leader can choose any available war zone or arena. So keep that in mind. That's really, really cool if you wanted to do that by yourself. I don't like PvP that much. I prefer to do cooperative, but there is a very robust PvP community if you are into that. Now, let's get to the final thoughts, overarching systems, and we'll wrap up the video. Now, as I was talking, there are some overarching systems here. So first, let's start with Conquest. Conquest are points that you get for doing basically anything in the game. Any enemy you kill, any quest you complete, any collectible you find, any new area you discover, Conquest. And as you can see, there is a progress bar out of 100,000. There is a quest every week for your character that you get a big amount of rewards, you know, the commendations, tech fragments, some credit, some trash you can just sell for credits. And that's tied to getting 100,000 Conquest. Now, 100,000 may seem like a lot, but I want you to keep in mind something here. Let's go down here, right? So, I just got 10,050 for leveling up my companion. Ranking up my crew, I got 3,750. Defeating enemies on Voss during this video, almost 2,500. Bonus missions, same thing. Fleet command, same thing. Relics of the Gree, I got that the other day, but that's fine. Either way there. My point, or for decorating my stronghold, which we'll show off strongholds here in a bit as it ties into the next part of the video. I can get literally, you know, 100th of that like that. No problem, no fuss, no muss. And there are different, and everything. See, look, missions, harvesting, defeating enemies. There's so many different things you can do. It's very easy to get to 100,000, especially as you're leveling a character. Now, you may ask, you know, Nim, 100,000 seems like a lot. Well, there are ways to improve that. So let's go to, you know, let's go to my Nar Shaddaa stronghold here. Now, I don't do a lot of decoration just because I generally don't like to decorate stuff. But if you'll notice, when I had that stronghold thing up, when I had that the Conquest thing up, a stronghold bonus 50%. That adds 50% to the Conquest points that I gain. So if we scroll up to the top, let's say, right? Let's say we go up to Uprisings Veteran Weekly. So I complete one Veteran Weekly Uprising, 67,000. It's over half. I complete one Uprising Story. That's 52. And the best part is, that's a daily repeatable. If I do 2 Uprisings, I'm finished. And I can even make it even better. Advancement reputation. You know, if I increase my reputation with any faction. So watch this, right? I'm gaining I've got some inventory stuff here. So I'm just gonna increase my reputation. Boom. Right there. 26,325. At a 50% bonus, which I've got 3 strongholds. They're not even fully unlocked. Or 3 or 4, but they're not even fully unlocked. I just gained more than 25% of what I needed for that weekly goal. And then, what I was going to say, we'll go to edit mode, and all this stuff is hooks. So all these things you can do, or there are hooks. So it's all stuff I can just, if I want to, I can hang stuff up. So Battle Lord Krishan, yeah, you know, I'll place that. And then let's do another one. Darth Ikaral? Sure, we'll place Darth Ikaral. And then the reason why I'm doing 5 is, you may ask, you know, like, well, why are we doing 5? Well, simple. Because that's going to give me a very easy answer. And that's more Conquest. And the best part is let's say you only have 1 decoration. If you pick it up and put it back down, so let's go back to Darth. Let's go back to Darth Savras here, right? So we're going to pick that up, then I'm going to place it again. Bam, there it is. So you could literally walk into a corner, place something 5 times if you wanted to, and just gain the benefits of your Conquest. And the best part is, you do not have to actually decorate your stronghold for it to count. You can increase the bonus that you get via unlocking more of your strongholds, or unlocking more strongholds. So this right here, you know, if I wanted to expand that, so I can do it with either cartel coins, premium currency, or in-game credits. So I'm going to expand it here. Boom, there we go. I've just expanded that. Then if we go to our mission log and our Conquest, we're now at 52%, and that is for everybody on the Legacy. So what does that mean? Because Legacy could be anything. You'll notice that if I press Y, the Slumborn Legacy, right? Every character that I make on this account, on this server, is part of that legacy. So, in addition to having character perks, there are global unlocks. Every character is going to have, on their ship, a repair droid and a mail droid. Every character is going to have fast fleet pass, fast quick travel, improved rocket boost, improved personal transport, and improved mounting. So that means that every character is already going to have those as soon as they start out. And the best part is legacy, every character you make contributes to the legacy. The max legacy level is 50. This is kind of a new account. I lost my old one. I couldn't get it back. So we are going to do, we're doing this. But what I want you to understand is that as you rank up in your legacy, you can buy things with credits or with cartel coins right away. So if I wanted to get an operations training dummy, let's say, for my ship, I could just pay the 500 grand, the 500 grand in credits, or the 150 with cartel coins. I'm not going to save my I'm not going to spend my cartel coins. I save those for various other things, like buying strongholds and such. But the answer is there are many different ways to get what you want. So there it is. Stronghold, legacy, and how everything builds into each other. And I can prove it. Let's log out real quick. Just log out. Yeah, I want to log out. We're going to go into, okay, loading screen. We're going to go into my joke character that I built that turned into a lot of fun. Justice Donuts, as you can see, he's had donuts and he's ready for justice with a cop stash. So we load in here. Eventually, I should. Sometimes the servers are a little less there. But anyway, we're in Nar Shaddaa, right? Boom. And you'll notice that if I press Y, Slumborn Legacy. Boom. He's got the flashpoints all unlocked, but he also has these. So those are all global unlocks there for everything and every character on my account. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the cash shop. Right, the cash shop has basically anything and everything you could possibly want. I mean, and is it expensive? Yeah, it is. Do you get cartel coins through playing the game? You do. Is it a lot? Not really. I would say very, very slow, but that's up to you. You know, you do what you want. Nothing in here is worth it. I mean, I guess I would say if you did unlocks, you could do that. But there are three different tiers of player. There's free, preferred, subscriber. I personally recommend if you absolutely want to be as cheap as possible, just subscribe for 1 month, unlock the preferred status because it gives you extra things that you can do that a free player can't. Then again, I would also recommend adding a security key, which doesn't cost anything, and that'll give you 100 cartel coins a month, which will allow you to build stuff up. If you play, you will be able to unlock most things. I recommend, again, just being a sub because it works out really well. When I play, I find that free-to-play MMOs are too grindy for me to want... For me to want to play with my limited free time and $15 a month, or I pay for the 6 months at a time, so I think it works down to about $11.50, is fine for me. That's not a big deal for me. Ultimately, why should you play Star Wars: The Old Republic in 2023? If you're looking for a deep, expansive MMO experience in a fantastic universe where you can do a lot of things and have a lot of content, both optional and mandatory if you want to progress stories, I recommend Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's a fun time. You can be good, evil, be on the evil side, evil, and be a good guy, be on the good guy side, and be evil. There are so many different things you can do, and more importantly, you can find players like yourself. I'm in a guild called Sanctuary of Old Souls on Still Mimicry, and Justice Donuts is in the Sanctuary. Both guilds have Republic sides and Imperial sides, and they're always willing to help and let people play. I'm on Starforge. If you want to play with me, go on. I'll be there. You'll see me in-game occasionally. Honestly, guys, this was a really fun video to make. I know it's a little longer than I intended, but hey, look, I'm an MMORPG advocate, and this is my jam. So tell me what you think about the video below, in comments, of course, and hopefully I'll see you here in a galaxy far, far away, an extremely long time ago. I'll see you in the next video, and may the mount you're farming drop on the first instance of the content.